still remember as a kid, one night where my grandpa accidentally took his sock off and you could see no toes were there. But he never, ever complains, and he was always out working in the fields every single day. They literally lived and died by their own work. And I think all of those values were put through my parents and were somehow in me. It was just this never quit attitude. He grew up on the farm, in the fields, driving tractors, and yet he got his degree and became one of the smartest computer scientists and electrical engineers I've ever met. This little girl changed my life. She really changed my life. She just made me become a father, and it was something I think I was really missing. I just want my sons to grow up and my daughter to grow up to know that anything's possible if you put in the work. If you dream big enough, you can do anything you want in this world, and I try to live that example every single day. And one of the big reasons I ran to be your next mayor of London is because of my two young boys, Damon and Caden. And 2041 is 20 years from now. And I thought about the conversation I would have with them then, and they would say, "Hey, Dad, what did you do back in the big crisis of 2021 when London was on its knees, when it was suffering from a massive depression, the worst in 300 years, recession, and there was a horrible mayor and no one had a plan and people were being stabbed in the streets? What did you do, Daddy?" I want to say that I actually made a difference for this city. I put it all on the line. I went out there and went for it. I created the best ideas in the business. Didn't let a moment go by without us pushing hard for this agenda. I have a vision for this city. I gave back to this city, and I try to make it a great city that I can pass on to my sons.
One, two, three. Listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rosen. We are live on the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus today, touring the borough of Wandsworth. Yes, that is home to Battersea Power Station and of course Clapham Common. We're going deep. I want to see as many people today out on the streets and digitally. So make sure you leave your questions for me right now, wherever you're watching me. Share this video with your friends, because today we're going to shake it up a little bit. We're going to do something that's a little bit more personal, and this episode is all about who is Brian Rose. Now, a lot of media has been coming out, newspapers saying, who on earth is Brian Rose? You know, and there's a lot actually to my life story, and I'm going to take it way back to Arizona and Colorado, to my grandparents that were cowboys and farmers, up into my parents and when they got divorced when I was a kid, and of course the story of me coming to London and building my family here as well. I'm going to share with you pictures and all sorts of good stuff, and I'm going to be answering your questions. This is the day to ask me anything you want about my past, about my present, about my future, and I can't wait to kind of let it flow a little bit and tell you a little bit about my life. So this should be a lot of fun, and again, I got some really old school pictures with some funny haircuts that had taken us all the way back to the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, even the 50s and 40s. I got some pictures of my grandparents, and it should be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Again, if you want to watch the pictures, come over to YouTube or Facebook, where we'll be actually putting those on screen in our multi-camera format. But it's great to be here with our Instagram people as well. So give us some love, leave me some questions right now. Before we start, I can't stop talking about this incredible document that literally I carry around with me everywhere. I carry this, you know, to the bathroom. I sleep with a copy right next to me at night because I couldn't be more proud of this, which is our manifesto for the future. It's something we worked on for 8 months, and I spent so much time with incredible people behind the scenes to come up with our solutions to London. This is literally a blueprint to take London to be the greatest city in the world. That's exactly what this is. And it headlines with our big policies here, which is rebuild London's economy, put 10,000 new police officers on the street, abolish the congestion charge until 2022, and of course build 50,000 new affordable homes by Christmas. You heard me right, Christmas of this year. That means in 6 months' time, 7, 8 months' time, we'll actually have more homes built than the current mayor has built in 5 years. Imagine that. Imagine if we could just do that. We could take this city to the next level, and I couldn't be more excited. And we go on to talk more about our pledge for freedom of speech, our pledge for being more digital in this city and making sure everyone has free broadband and free devices. And so this document has everything, as well as our green initiatives. And again, we couldn't be more proud or more excited. I want to thank everyone that helped me create this document, which includes Londoners in every single borough of this city. All the conversations we had on the street went into this document. I met people that said, Brian, My cousin was stabbed last weekend. What can you do about it? Brian, what about the police? You know, we don't like the way that they're behaving in this way in our neighborhood. All of this is in here. We have some incredible solutions in here, and we're so proud of what we're doing. I've had people from the House of Lords that help me with this, senior Metropolitan Police officers, senior people from Transport for London, architects, entrepreneurs, economists, doctors, scientists, Nobel Prize winners. They all helped me create this incredible document. And again, we couldn't be more proud of what's going on here. So get your copy. It's brianformayor.london/manifesto. You can get it digitally. You can get it in physical print. It's a really important piece, and it basically lays out our plan for the future. And we couldn't be more proud of what we're doing here, and we're excited to have you as well. So let's get back to the campaign and talk about everything that's actually happening here. We are having fun. It's Brian for Mayor World Headquarters. It's incredible times. We're out in the streets. You can see us on all these major newspapers and all of these incredible websites. We've got just over 2 weeks left to change history, and that's what we expect to do on May 6th. We're going to create the biggest upset in British political history and become the next mayor of London. I know this is going to happen because the people in the streets want it to happen. They've seen what we offer, an independent voice, fresh ideas. We're going to take London in a new direction, and we couldn't be more excited about this all kicking off. We are now in second place and moving into first place, and we couldn't be more ready to take on the issues that London faces right now. So it's important that you get out and vote on May 6th. Get your friends and family to vote. I meet people on the street sometimes, they say, Brian, my whole family is voting for you. And I've got 40 or 50 people in my family. That's what we need. We need you to mobilize. So share this video link right now to your social networks. Share this to your WhatsApp groups, to your email groups. The only way we're going to do this is from the ground up. And again, it's time for an independent voice. I think we're all tired of this two-party system, Labour versus Conservative. We see Sadiq blaming Boris. Meanwhile, the citizens of London, we pay for their failures, for their billions of pounds in bailouts, for the knife crime on our street that's unacceptable. Again, it's enough of this. We have to have an independent voice. I want to get in there and shake things up and bring some new ideas, and I couldn't be more excited to do it. Also, you've seen me doing Instagram lives with some of the most incredible people in the world, and these are going to continue. Last week, we saw me hanging out with Martin Ford. He's a big movie star, English born and bred. He's the big, massive 380-pound guy with the tattoos and the muscles, but he's actually an incredible, incredible deep thinker and a great man when it comes to becoming the best version of himself. And we had a great conversation on IG Live. I had mob boss Michael Franzese on the other day who said, Brian, I know how corrupt the government is, and I can't wait for you to fix it. It was incredible talking to him. I had Olympic breakdancer Menno van Gorp on the show yesterday, and we were talking about one of my passions, which is breakdancing and physical practice and performing. We've got some big names coming up, including former World Wrestling Champion Diamond Dallas Page is going to be with us tonight. We got Patrick Bet David coming in the future, Flex Wheeler, David Hay, the boxer. We're just bringing everyone out here. So stay tuned for those IG Lives. They're a lot of fun. Hang out. Follow me on Instagram, The Real Brian Rose, London Real TV, Brian for Mayor, and you can catch all that stuff. It's going to be absolutely incredible. All right, let's talk about a little press, and then I'm going to show you some old pictures of my family and talk about my adventure. First of all, you see this paper I'm holding here, the Evening Standard, and you can see right on the front here, Brian Rose, breakdancing, ex-banker trying to be mayor. I think you can see this picture right now up on your screens, and you can see what's happening there. That's the front page of this newspaper. And again, I used to get this paper as a Londoner. I didn't ever believe I would be on the front page, but the reason we are is because our ideas are really resonating with you. And we can see the paper goes on into the headline inside the picture. It says, "My £1,000,000 bid to become your mayor." You see pictures of me in the studio. And of course, pictures of me on the battle bus, and then of course a picture of me and my incredible wife Mariana, who's been supporting me the whole campaign, the whole time during London Real. And I want to talk about her today and share some pictures with her and our daughter Gabby and our sons and talk about that whole adventure. But I just want to say the mainstream press is recognizing us because they know that I am the only person that can beat Sadiq Khan on May 6th, and I will beat him. Khan knows it, I know it, and every single Londoner knows it as well. We can't wait to make history on May 6th, and we're going to. And that's why we're out here in the battle bus, live streaming to you. I'm out there on the streets every single day talking to citizens. We're doing it live and uncut. You've also seen me out there on these billboards, larger than life with some of our policies. You might have seen this picture of me with literally 100 meters of billboards about our policies. This is on the Cromwell Road. And I've been asked recently by journalists, Brian, why are you doing this? Why are you spending the money to get these messages out there? And I say, because this is important to me. London is important to me. This message is important to me. You don't create a 50-page detailed manifesto over 8 months because you got nothing better to do. You know, this has been something I put everything on hold for. I put London Real on hold for, my family life, my personal life, to go all in on this race. And real Londoners feel that. They can see what we're doing here, and we couldn't be more proud. So it's an honor for me to get our messages way up and big because I'm proud of these policies here. And I'll play for you a really quick video right now of some of these incredible outdoor advertisements. And there might be more of these coming, so watch where they are. Obviously, take a picture, hashtag Brian for Mayor, and I want to send you coffee cups and t-shirts. So here's a short video of our outdoor ads. And again, if you see anything Brian for Mayor related, take a picture of it, put it on your social platforms, hashtag Brian for Mayor. If you want to learn more about us, our campaign, if you want to download a copy of this thing, go to brianformayor.london, our website. It's massive. It's been shared over 1 million times, visited 3, 4, 5, 6 million times. I think I'll have to check on that. It's the most popular website of any mayor, probably in history. And again, we just keep pushing the limit when it comes to what we're doing digitally. We're so proud of this campaign. And again, I am now on the digital battle bus. And this is a picture of what it looks like from the outside. It's an incredible vehicle. And again, it just shows how serious we are about this message. I'm in the back live streaming from what really is a mobile broadcasting studio. We can stream out to 5 million people around the world from the back of this bus. I answer your questions in real time. Ask me the hard questions. No politician would dare get into a back of a bus and live stream and go to every borough of in London, but we're doing it here. We've logged over 4,500 miles in this bus. I've been to every single borough of London twice, and I'm going back again for the 3rd time. I can't wait to get out there and talk to you in the streets, whereas our current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, when he's confronted by people in the streets, citizens that have simple questions, Mayor, like, why do you put LTNs in our neighborhood? Why are you raising our congestion charge? Why are you ruining our economy? Why can't you stop our children from being stabbed on the streets? The current mayor, Sadiq Khan, he runs and hides. I, on the contrary, am out here, and I'm here to stand and deliver for you. And again, I am asking probably for one of the last times, Mayor Sadiq Khan, when will you debate me? I've been asking this for over 3 months now. When will you debate me? I see you're happy to go on the BBC when you're off to debate your old friend, your partner in crime, Sean Bailey. The two of you have been paid by the taxpayer for the past 5 years to have your usual scheduled debates in the Greater London Assembly, paid for by the taxpayer. We saw that again on the BBC. We know you guys do that. It's almost the same argument every time. Why not really talk about the facts and have a debate with me, and let's put out your ideas. Let's follow your track record. That's what I want to happen. So Sadiq Khan, when will you debate me? I'll do it anytime, anywhere, anyhow. I'm looking forward to this. So let me know. You can send me a Zoom link. We can do it out in person. We can do it at London Real Studios. But I'm still waiting for the answer, Sadiq Khan. When will you debate me? Until then, we are moving forward with our battle bus, and we're super excited about that. I want to thank the Brian for Mayor volunteers. Incredible group of people. Here's a picture of them in front of the bus. This is just a small few of the incredible volunteers that we have out there. I want to send my love and appreciation to everybody in the group. I got a live call with them at 6 o'clock tonight, and we always speak with them. They were out in force yesterday. They were out in force on Sunday when I did a speaking event. They're here with us today. They're out there passing out leaflets, making phone calls, knocking on people's doors. They are the best in the business. If you want to join us for this incredible, incredible win on May 6th, go to brianformayor.london/volunteers. Type in your info, boom, we'll put you right into the Facebook group. We'll get you out there, we'll get you leaflets, we'll get you manifestos, we'll get you on the bus. It's a lot of fun. Be part of this energy. It's absolutely incredible. I've been told by people in politics that have been in politics for 20 or 30 years, they have never seen a more energized volunteer group than the Brian for Mayor. And honestly, it just rolls right off me because everything that we do seems to be world class and the best. And that's because we care It's just that simple. I had a reporter yesterday asking me questions, and I said, the truth is, if you really just want to stop everything, we can put the bus aside, you can put my manifesto down to the side. Sadiq Khan doesn't care about Londoners, and I do. And he said, well, I think he cares. I said, no, he doesn't. He doesn't care. But we actually care. This is our passion, our heart, our soul. And the missing ingredient that's maybe not obvious on this manifesto is love. We love this city. We love the people in the city, and we want to offer these solutions, and we're here to be of service to provide that. So I want to thank the volunteers. Join us there. A couple more things before I get to some of these old school pictures. I just want to say we have launched the London Real Party, and you might have seen this graphic popping up here and there, but this is what the party and the logo looks like. We couldn't be more proud to finally have our own party. It is a party for London. Finally, a party for London, and it stands for determination. It stands for innovation, for perseverance, for fortitude, and that indomitable spirit that London and Britain is famous for. The London Real Party is happening now. Go to londonreal.party if you want to find out more information. And again, we are fielding 4 members of the London Real Party for the Greater London Assembly. It shows we have a long-term commitment to local politics. And again, if you want to be involved and get some of this London Real Party swag, go to the URL, londonreal.party. Jump in, become a member, help support us. And again, it's not just me running for mayor. We've got other members that are going to be part of this Greater London Assembly. And again, take London to the next level and take London in a new direction with fresh ideas and an independent voice. So we're super excited. And again, if you want some of this swag, these coffee cups, etc., take a picture of anything Brian for Mayor related. It could be the bus on the streets. It could be a social post. Hashtag Brian for Mayor. And we're sending out t-shirts, coffee cups, pens, the whole 9. And that's it. Let's get into today's. It's going to be a really, really fun time. It's time for you to ask me any question you want. So I want to get questions starting from you right now. I want to tell you a little bit about my story, and then I'm going to be talking with you today. First of all, the usual, tell me, what borough do you live in? What city do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What's the question you want to ask me when I visit? Second of all, are you excited for this manifesto, and who are you going to vote for on May 6th? Third, what question do you want to ask me about maybe my childhood, about me coming to London, or even about my family and my business here? Ask me anything you want. And finally, do you think we need new leadership, fresh ideas, and to take London in a new direction now? I think we do. So let's get started with this episode. I got 3 sections here, and I'm going to kick it off with a question that was asked recently by the Times Magazine, and it said, who on earth does Brian Rose think he is? And it's a fabulous headline, and it's kind of a funny question, and they're making a point as well. And I thought, why not take today and I'll try to tell you who I am, because most people don't really know who I am. They see the suit, they hear the accent, they see the videos, but they don't really know where I came from. So I wanted to talk about it today. So again, let me start by showing you a picture. And this is a picture of my grandma and grandmother being married in Arizona. And this is probably from the 1940s. And it's an old black and white picture, and you can see my grandpa, Jim Benedict, next to my grandma, Lois Benedict. I'm going to try not to get teary thinking about them, but this is a black and white picture, and it really looks like an old school Midwestern wedding in America. And this is where it kind of started. This is where my grandpa, Benedict, got married. And I actually took his middle name, and it's my middle name, Benedict, now as well. And of course, my son, Damon, now has the middle name Benedict. And it's something I've always been proud of. My grandpa, on my mother's side, was a cattle rancher in Arizona. And he grew up basically as an entrepreneur. You know, if he didn't have his cattle ranch, then nothing happened. And here's another picture of him, and he's holding my brother in his right hand, and that's me. He's holding my left hand, and I'm looking up at this guy with a big cowboy hat. And that's Jim Benedict. And Jim was known as an incredible man in the community, a man you could always count on. Again, I'm going to try not to get emotional talking about this, but my mom always said that back in the cattle ranching days, everything was done on a handshake. Everything was done about your reputation and trust. And it wasn't about contracts. It was about whether you were a man of your word. And my grandpa was one of the most successful cattle ranchers in the area because he was known as a guy that always did what he said, always worked incredibly hard, and always delivered innovation as well. He was actually at the front edge of the curve when it came to cattle ranching. And you'll see that picture behind him. There's a bunch of canes on the wall. And my grandpa had a cane collection. And so in the canes, I had a collection of like 60 different canes. And you're thinking, well, why would he have a cane collection? Well, when my grandpa was about 12 years old, he was riding a buggy with a horse on the back of it, and it threw him and he hit the dirt and he actually broke his hip. And so for the rest of his life, he had really a limp, and he had a real struggle moving around, which is why he was never drafted in the war. And it meant that he grew up always with kind of a handicap. And later in life, he actually had a stroke and he would be in a wheelchair. And it was my job to get him in and out of the car. But he still always persevered. And he had this incredible cane collection made from everything. And he got them all around the world. He used to travel to England and travel to Europe. And he had the craziest canes. He had a cane that was a gun. It fired a single shot. He had a cane that had flasks inside the cane where you could have different alcoholic beverages inside the cane. He had a cane that had like a knife in it. He had a cane that was made out of all these different materials from all places around the world. And it's just some of the things I remember about my grandpa. He taught me how to horse trade. He used to love buying and selling horses and mules, and he would take me out and he would show me how you bargain with the people and how you comment about the horse. I used to be in partnership with him. He sold me a percentage of one of his race horses, and he really liked me because we were both kind of entrepreneurial. And my grandpa Benedict taught me a lot, and it was just great coming from those real roots, those really hard-working roots. And I was always the city boy from California. I would come out to see him, and I would be scared of the horses and scared of the cows, but just being around people that made their living from the land was a really big deal. And my other grandpa, my grandpa Rose, he was a farmer, and he used to grow potatoes and used to grow barley, and he had all of his toes chopped off when he was 17 years old in an accident. And yet he never complained once about it. And that's why both of my grandparents didn't actually go and fight in the war, because they were both disabled enough not to be able to go on these long marches. And so I still remember as a kid one night where my grandpa accidentally took his sock off and you could see no toes were there. But he never ever complains, and he was always out working in the fields every single day. And these were men that they literally lived and died by their own work. And I think all of those values were put through my parents and were somehow in me. It was just this never quit attitude. And it was really impressive. My grandparents never complained once. They never said anything bad about everybody. They always led by example. They never lectured me. They just acted in a way that was just really incredible. And it was all about character. It was all about your word, and it was all about your action. So it was incredible growing up. I used to go out to Arizona all the time and visit them. Farms get really boring after a while, so you got to make up stuff to do. And I had incredible grandmothers as well that were super supportive, really curious. My grandma Benedict, she used to love the royal family. I still remember Princess Diana's wedding being played on the TV. She was really international. She used to read a lot, and they were both very well educated. One final thing about the Benedict family. I think it was my great-grandmother's husband was thrown from a horse and killed. And she was basically alone on her own. And so she got an education. And back then that was a big deal. And so education and female education was a big thing in my family. And that's why every single one of their children after that all had higher degrees. And every single female was also encouraged to get a college degree. And I think that was a big difference that made my family always try to get better. And so again, my grandparents' children got incredible degrees and went out to California. And then their children, me and my brother is in Switzerland, I'm here, my sister's in California, we went to the next level. So a little bit about me, going back through memory lane. I have really fond memories of my grandparents. They taught me so much without me knowing what they taught me. They taught me character without knowing I was being taught character, just spending time growing up with them. So hope you enjoyed those pictures and some of those stories. I miss them very much. And I love going to see those old pictures because they created my parents, which I'll talk about next. But now let me go to your questions. And again, just find out what you're thinking. Tell me, what borough do you live in? What's your biggest challenge? What's the question you want to ask me? Next, are you excited for this manifesto? And who are you going to vote for on May 6th? What question can you ask me about my life, my family, my future? And finally, is it time for new leadership, new vision, new ideas to take London in a new direction? And there's always some incredible questions here. I always love going to our website first, and you go to brianformayor.london at any time and ask us a question. Alan from Bromley asked via the website. He says, what will you do about all the LTNs and bus gates that have been deemed unlawful? These have affected my taxi business. As the next mayor, will the taxi trade be part of the mayor's public transportation strategy? Have you the ability to sort out this mess that TfL is in, including having over 500 people earning in excess of £100,000? And of course, these are great questions, Alan, and a lot of this is detailed inside this manifesto policy. I've been out visiting these LTNs. I was in one at Greenwich a few days ago. Before that, I was in Enfield. Before that, I was in Ealing. Before that, I was in Southwark. And I'm talking to people on the streets. They tell me how frustrated they are. They tell me how the mayor of London is completely out of touch. I'm going to rethink all of these LTNs. I think they need to be suspended until people in the neighborhoods are actually consulted with. And that's what the mayor did. He put through this policy. He had a great press release. Ticks off his green initiatives, but they have ruined the economies. They have increased emissions, increased journey times, and they have angered everybody in the neighborhoods, including ambulances and emergency services that are trying to get into these places. I have a drastic plan to run TFL at a profit. I have incredible new revenue streams that we're going to pull in. I have ways we're going to drop and lower congestion charges, remove these LTNs and the millions of pounds of finances that they generate, and really change our transportation system. And when it comes to what the mayor is doing to taxi drivers, it's ridiculous. Look at the roads here. They're completely congested, and we're not fully yet out of lockdown. We have to rethink the streets of London. If London can't move, London can't get back to business. And I'm going to rethink that whole strategy. And yes, I can make changes. As the mayor of London, you are very powerful. The current mayor likes to show you how powerless he is, but actually you're very powerful as a mayor. And transport is one of my key policies, and you can read that in my manifesto. So thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. Going to some questions on Instagram. Fantastic. I got Valerie Mo on Instagram says, so do you think you can win? Well, Valerio, I mean, you must not have been paying attention for the last 6 months. And by the way, we've been campaigning since October 14th. I just want to say that to some of our recent fair weather friends that decided to run for mayor just a few weeks ago. We have been here talking about policy, talking about changes we want to make for London for over 6 months. We've been in the streets driving this bus since January of this year, over 4,000 miles. We created the best manifesto of any candidate out there, perhaps the best manifesto in British political history. And so, yes, we think we can win. We know we're going to win on May 6th, but I won't kid you. We're going to need your help. We're going to need every single citizen's help if we're going to win this, because we're going up a two-party system that's dug in. They're really dug in. They've got a lot of interests that are trying to keep them in power. We just want to break that and give London what's best for it. I got real solutions here. I know how to build the homes. I know how to put the police on the streets. I know how to fund the community centers. I know how to get London back to work with our great celebration. And I know how to run our transportation system at a profit. So yeah, we're super excited, Valerie. And of course we can do it. I got VW Bob 007 on Instagram saying, looking damn good. Thank you. Again, I try to dress the way that the mayor of London should be dressing. I represent our city to the world. My job is to bring business into the city, bring tourists into this city, to try to make the citizens of London, have better lives, generate more money, have better businesses, get more exposure, better education for their children. So every day I get dressed to represent this incredible city and my ideas. So thank you. I appreciate that. Sebastian Gomez says, come on, legend. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. We got Dennis Villa on Instagram says, hi, Brian. Are you going to visit Denmark and do politics and connect with people because you have fans here, including me? Thank you, Dennis. We're not going to take the bus over there, but we are really appreciative of fans. We got people all around the world, again, from Bangladesh to Budapest to Brazil, all supporting our race to be the next mayor. So that is fantastic. I got Mr. John David Snyder on Instagram saying, get it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. I've got Akshay Gupta saying, can't wait for Brian to become London mayor. We appreciate you. We can't wait as well. I got Mr. A. Syed on Instagram says, Brian, will you run for Prime Minister of England after mayoral victory? Honestly, I'm here to solve London's problems. The reason I got into this race is because I love this city. My kids live here, my business is here, and we've got so much work to do. So honestly, I'm just focused on implementing this manifesto, which is going to take me a little bit of time. So let's sort out London for the next 10, 20 years before we get any other big plans. I think one of the big problems we have with our former mayors is they're always thinking of their next job. They should be thinking of the citizens of London. And they forgot about the citizens of London because they're thinking about their career in politics. I don't want a career in politics. I just want to do the right things for London, and we will. So thank you. I appreciate that support. We've got Anne-Marie in the house on Instagram says, Brian for mayor, and you're hashtagging Grant Cardone and Elena Cardone as well. I love those people. They've been on the show, and we might be pulling them in for some Instagram lives coming soon. I got Ergs88 says, hello, Brian. I live in Lewisham. I'm worried about the ULEZ extension in October. I need my card to get out to and from work and can't afford to buy a non-ULEZ vehicle. What are your plans on the ULEZ? So again, when we look at the ULEZ extension, when we look at the congestion charge extension and expansion, the mayor, He's running out of options. He's got nothing left to fix his bankrupt transportation system. So he's taxing you, the citizens. And let me be honest about this. It hurts the lowest income people the worst when he jacks up and asks you for 11, 15 pounds for a congestion charge or a ULEZ charge. He's doing that because he can't run his transportation system. And let's be clear, the TfL was going bankrupt long before COVID hit. He's not a businessman. That's what this race comes down to. I bring 30 years of business experience here, from the automotive industry to the aerospace industry, from Wall Street to the City of London. I'm going to run London like a business. I'm going to run TfL at a profit. It's got so many great assets, including the land, including an infrastructure levy where we can make developers pay for the value they get from TfL. This will mean we don't need congestion and ULEZ charges to generate revenue. Now, it's great if you want to use them to lower emissions and to lower traffic in the center of the city, okay. But you don't penalize citizens of London just because you don't have any money left. And that's what the mayor's doing for you. He can't balance his own budget, so he's taxing you with these extended and these expanded ULEZ and congestion charges. I don't believe in it. It's wrong. The mayor has already been deemed to have illegal actions he committed with his street space scheme. He rushed things through during the pandemic. The High Court has ruled that. And he's doing it again. It's unacceptable to me. I'm going to lower these charges and reduce them because I know how to run TfL, and it will be at a profit. I got Nalifa on Instagram saying, yes, live from Croydon. What's up? We were down in Croydon just a few weeks ago to see my friend Eliza at the Lives Not Knives charity. She's doing incredible work there. Eliza, a lot of your ideas went into my manifesto when it came to community policing, so I appreciate you. Again, every single conversation I have on the streets of London has gone into this manifesto because I've listened to the citizens of London. I don't run and hide when the people of London come talk to me like the current mayor. I'm there to listen, and I put it as part of my policy, and I'm going to execute it starting on May 6th. So thank you so much. I got Walking Glenn on Instagram says, what happens if you don't win? Well, we're going to win, so we don't have to worry about that. We got Selena Fazell on Instagram, simply, I hope you win. Thank you. MK Plug on YouTube saying, looking on point with that suit. When are you going to Hillingdon? You know, we've been to Hillingdon before. We're going to come back to Hillingdon. We're trying to hit every single borough in London again before the election. We're going to be putting these miles on. We're going to do probably another 2,000 miles on this bus. So hold tight. We're coming to you. Make sure you vote on May 6th. I got Late Beyond on YouTube that says, how much sleep are you getting? You know, to be honest, I'm actually getting okay sleep. I just don't do anything else. So I train. I get to take my boys to school in the morning. I get to read them a bedtime story at night. And the rest of the time is Brian for Mayor. And that's been that way for about 6 or 7 months right now. Honestly, I love it. I get so much energy from the people on the streets of London. Went out yesterday, people honking their horns, taxi drivers, restaurant owners, people on the street, old ladies, young people, all saying, Brian, we see you. We feel your energy. We know you love this city. We can't wait for you to win. We're supporting you. My family's supporting you. Honestly, it's an incredible feeling. And I just feel like I'm a vehicle for your ideas to take London to the next level. Londoners deserve better. And Londoners are great people. We just got to get these politicians out of the way so we can finally achieve this greatness. Right now, we're one of the worst performing cities in Europe. And it's because of the politics and the people in City Hall. Let's get rid of the party politics. Let's just do the right thing. And that's what we're going to do starting May 6th. So thank you. I appreciate that. Impact Muscle Garage on Instagram says simply true leadership. Thank you very much. I appreciate that recognition. We've got Late Beyond on YouTube says, how much sleep you're getting? No, I had that already. I got a Lawyer's World on Instagram says, if I lived in London, I'd be 100% in and voting for you. Thank you. I got D-Moda Events Co. on IG says, I'm voting for you. Run Free Explosion said, I've registered to vote. Yay. Westwind on YouTube says, how can an American have such a passion for London? I lived there for a year and it felt like home. You know, it's hard to explain, and I'm going to talk about it in my next section. My mom brought me here when I was 16 years old on a European vacation, just like that movie with Chevy Chase, and this city clicked with me. And ever since I came here, every single visit, every time I moved here to work here, it just felt like home. I don't know how to explain it. You know, who knows? You know, maybe I have lived here before. I don't know, but it felt like home. So it's been home for 21 years. I've been a citizen for 14 years. My 2 boys were born here. I plan on being buried in this incredible, incredible city. I can't think of anything better than to be buried here. So I'm here. I want to make it the best place because I have to live here. And I'm tired of the excuses. That's all I see is excuses from our politicians. No more excuses. In the business world where I'm from, you either do it right or you get eliminated. And so I'm going in to do the job, hold people accountable, and make sure we get the job done. And that's the plan on May 6th. So thank you so much. I got Akasha Temple on Instagram says, please don't stop yourself from being emotional, bro. This is why we love you, because you're so real and genuine. Hugs from Akasha Temple. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you're so right. Got to keep that emotion going strong. And I'll probably get a little emotional when I'm talking about my family here. So let's get to part 2. More pictures from the 50s, the 60s, and 70s. And again, this episode is a little bit about me and who I am. And so I talked about my grandparents. I talked about my roots back in the Midwest. And those grandparents created 2 incredible people. One is my mom, Betty Rose, and my father, Freeman Rose. And this is a picture of my mom holding me up. And they say a picture sells 1,000 words, words. And there's my mom. And this is clearly a woman that loves her son, right? I mean, she's really an incredible mom. And this is her holding me up. And Mom, we're going to forgive you for the haircut. It was 1972. So the bouffant was the thing then. And I remember hairspray and stuff in her bathroom, and that was the thing. So there's my mom. And she's an incredible, incredible woman. I'll tell you more about Betty Rose soon. She's also been on London Real, as my father has as well. And next, you're going to see a picture of my dad. This is Freeman Rose, and this is him, I think, graduating from Caltech, which is one of the greatest technical schools in the world. I think I got some of my brains from my dad. He got a degree in electronic engineering and a master's degree in 64 and 65, and went on to an incredible career in California in the semiconductor industry. He is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. He's an incredible man. Again, he leads by example. He grew up on the farm, in the fields, driving tractors, and yet he got his degree and became one of the smartest computer scientists and electrical engineers I've ever met. It's an interesting combination when you have parents like that have a solid upbringing from the earth, but also are willing to try to learn and get better all the time. And, the older I get, the more I see I'm becoming more like my dad. And honestly, I'll take it. He's a great man, and I'm really proud for that as well. A couple more pictures here. Here's my mom. I think this is my first birthday. Here's a birthday cake. My mom was always big on birthdays. And again, giving a big shout out to my mom's bouffant there with the hair going on. That's next level. And I've got pictures like this from all my early birthdays. It was a big deal for my mom. She used to make my birthdays a big deal. And I had some incredible support growing up, and it was great. So thank you, Mom, for that. Fast forward to today. This is a picture I took with my mom. I think we had her 75th birthday. And this is a picture of me and Mom. We went to Europe. We met all of my brother and sister, and this is a selfie. And as you can see, Betty Rose still out there crushing it. My mom is an incredible, incredible woman. And she's out there. She's a businesswoman. She has properties in San Diego that she runs, that she bought herself based on jobs. I remember she bought these properties 30, 40 years ago and invested in her future, and that's what allows her to travel around the world. So she's just an incredible woman. And I want to tell you a little bit about my childhood growing up, because I had, one of these American childhoods. Mom and Dad, we had 3 kids. Here's a picture of me, my brother, and my sister. So this is my family, and that's my sister, Andrea, my brother, Eric, and that's me. My sister changed her name to Claire later. And those are the 3 of us, and that's us at our address in San Diego at Calle Leticia. That's probably around 73 or 74. And we had this beautiful kind of family growing up, and everything was great until I turned 7 years old. And that's when my parents got divorced. And for me at 7, I took that really hard. My brother was 9, my sister was 3, and they took it really differently. But for me, it was a really difficult thing. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because something I assumed would be there, which is my family structure and my mom and dad, suddenly got taken away from me. And I felt really alone. I felt like I might not be able to ever trust anybody. And I felt like I had to be super self-reliant the rest of my life. And so I turned into this kind of self-reliant beast. And I also, probably in retrospect, didn't allow a lot of people to come into my emotional space because I thought maybe they would leave or split up in the future. And so it left me in this kind of state, but it also left me with this incredible single mother, my mom, Betty Rose. And she became super mom. I mean, seriously, my mom became the most super mom in the world. And she took us 3 kids on this incredible adventure. She took us around the world. And here's a picture of the 3 of us in Japanese kimonos. And this isn't some picture you take down at the photo mat around the corner. This is us literally in Japan, I think. And she decided she was going to take us around the world. And this is us in Japanese kimonos. And I went and lived in Japan for a couple summers with a Japanese family. It was incredible. I lived in a city called Odawara, Japan. My mom took me everywhere. She took me to Hong Kong. She took me to Hawaii. She took me to Europe. She took me to Washington, D.C. to see the Smithsonian Museum. She took me up the coast of California to the Hearst Castle. She took me camping. We hated camping. She did this all on a budget. She was always counting the pennies. She made me read books. She encouraged me to work hard in school. She took me to visits of colleges. She took me to Cornell. She took me to the University of Chicago. She took me to MIT when I was 17. And again, one of the most incredible mothers in the world. And if it wasn't for her taking all of us kids to Europe when I was 16 years old, I probably wouldn't be here in London. And so she was an incredible mom that did a really, really difficult job. And it's hard enough raising kids. I have them now, let alone to do it alone. So big shout out to Betty Rose. She's an incredible woman. She's really is no joke. She's impressive. And I used to butt heads with my mom as a kid. It was me and my mom arguing with each other. I was a really difficult kid. Because I was trying to, I don't know, be somebody. And my mom fought back. She threw me out of the house one time for a year. She always laid down the rules and laid down the guidelines, and it probably created the man you see today. And so a little bit more about my childhood. I loved science. I loved math. I was really good at it. So I was big into science fairs. And this is a picture of me creating one of my science fair projects. I think this is the one I went on to place, I think, second in the California State Science Fair. But this is me building a cathode ray tube. This is actually in a vacuum. My dad made me wear that visor because the whole thing could have exploded at any moment. And there's like electronic circuitry in the side. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. That's a vacuum pump on the bottom right. And this is me later graduating from MIT with my degree in mechanical engineering. Again, I got all this probably from my dad, even though I'm nowhere near as smart as my dad. But I kind of combine this love of science. And so that's a little bit about me growing up, a few details that maybe you didn't know before. And I want to finish off here by telling you a little bit about my family here in London. So let me go to your questions. I hope you're enjoying this little walk through memory lane. I haven't really done this before, but it's kind of fun, and it's good for me to remember where I'm from. So again, tell me if you're out there, tell me what borough you're in, what city are you in, what's your biggest challenge, what question can you ask me? Next, are you excited for us to be your next mayor of London on May 6th? Who are you going to vote for? Have you read this manifesto? Do you like our ideas? Third, what question do you have about me, my family, my childhood, my family today, or anything you want to ask? And finally, do you think it's time for new leadership, fresh ideas, and to take London in a new direction? Again, ask me any question you want. I'm going here, boom, to our lives and stuff. I got some great questions here, so thank you so much. I got Sarah Mari Jim on YouTube. It says, God bless your family. I really appreciate that. I got Ann on Instagram. Says, Brian is doing a great job in letting London know who he is. Thanks, Ann. I think it's important. I can talk all day about some of this stuff that I'm talking about today. I got Icy Elizabeth on Instagram. Says, please win. I can't take Sadiq Khan anymore. It's depressing now. You and me both. Icy Elizabeth, you and me both. Honestly, every single person I meet on the streets of London, before I can even talk about my manifesto, before I can talk about my ideas, they all tell me how much they hate Sadiq Khan, how much he's failed them as a mayor, and how they can't believe he even has a chance of getting reelected. That's why I know on May 6th, we're going to create the biggest upset in British political history. Don't believe the polls. If the polls were right, we'd have President Hillary Clinton. We know they've been wrong consistently. They are wrong now. People are starting to realize it, and I appreciate your support. I got Mr. Saeed in London on Instagram says, I am voting for you. I got Grace Monetti on Instagram saying, I want freedom. I want Brian. I'm moving to London in September for university, and I really hope you're mayor because I want freedom. Grace, I really appreciate that. So much of what I stand for is freedom. Last year, we spent 9 months. I put my whole business on the line to fight for freedom of speech. I went up against one of the biggest companies in the world, fighting for freedom of speech and digital freedom of speech. People saw that and they really appreciated that. Earlier this year, I fought for my free right to run as a candidate for mayor, and yet the mayor of London tried to ban me from campaigning. But we believe in free and fair elections. I believe in free choice. You should have the choice about what ideas to put in your head, about what to put in your body. It's all about freedoms. If we lose that, we lose everything else. So I appreciate that, Grace. That's one of the big things I stand for, and that's also in my manifesto as well. So get a copy of this and watch. I want to check with my website and just check a question here. I got Roger in Ealing that says on the website, and by the way, you can go there and leave any questions you want. I'm always answering them. He says, Brian, do you have an A5 leaflet that can be posted through letterboxes in my ward in Ealing North? I'm quite prepared to do the long haul again for your and ultimately our cause. Perhaps this could be considered for right across London with your army of followers. Cheers, Roger. And Roger, we do. We've actually got A5 leaflets We've also got manifestos, and we'd love for you to join us. Go to brianformayor.london/volunteer. You can get on the live call tonight if you join now. And again, our volunteers are the best in the business. They're incredible people with amazing energy. They're out there in force on the streets every day. They're on the phones every night. They're knocking on doors. They are making this happen. Join us. It's going to be amazing. And I really appreciate you, Roger, for volunteering there for us. And please help us win. We can only win this together. That's the only chance we have. Welcome to Battle Bus Live.